Well, folks, starting another week. Time's flying by. And here we are. It is the middle of November. I had asked AI to do a deep search on what our long-term forecast is for the winter. And it said first accumulative snowfall on or around the middle of November. Well, we got it. Not much, about 2 or 3 inches. But, well, hey, seems AI nailed it. Anyways, there's never a shortage of issues to cover, whether it's in Canada, provincially, federally, or internationally. So I put a few things together here about recent events or, fairly recent events anyways. So let's get rolling. I'll show you what I come up with. Okay, so we know Carney really likes to hang on to the fact that he is mostly European. Well, this is how the EU, European Union, how they treat their countries, the member countries. Yeah, this is how they treat them.
So, you've heard Madam Reichsführerin von der Leyen expressing once again her belief that by the insane policy of decarbonization, that is devastation and poverty, she really changes temperatures all over the continent. She thinks she's some kind of rain whisperer, some sorcerer. She's dangerous. She should be put in some madhouse instead of. This is my political diagnosis. This is my political recommendation.
It is insulting. I call you to order and ask you to use language that is appropriate for this chamber. Otherwise, I will cut you off.
Once again, please, Madam Chair. Once again, I couldn't hear the translation.
I was saying that you have to use language appropriate to this chamber, or I'll cut you off. It's not possible to insult representatives of European institutions as you just did. So, if you want to speak, use appropriate language. Otherwise, I won't let you speak.
Okay, could you please, Madam Chair, advise me which particular word that I used is inappropriate?
I'll cut you off. You called President von der Leyen a Nazi, and that's unacceptable. It's not possible. So if she...
I referred to her position here. I call her Reichsführerin von der Leyen because this is the way she executes the superpower that you gave her, which is wrong, which is deeply wrong. Thank you very much, Madam Reichsführerin von der Leyen, for making my life so much easier, for making my work so much easier, because after you present, just another time, you present your vision of spending more and more money of European taxpayers for your insane projects like Migration Pact, like Green Deal, like continuation of war in Ukraine. It's much easier to explain to my compatriots that the only reasonable way we have to choose is Polexit.
So you can see the similarities there between the EU and Carney, Canada. I mean, many other countries too, Australia, New Zealand, the UK especially, and of course, like I say, the European Union. They're all following the same plan. I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but it keeps getting updated daily, sometimes hourly. So there's another clip here. Let's see, which one am I going to bring up? I'll go with Elon Musk, okay? We'll try Elon here now.
I mean, the public, they don't quite realize just how much deception is really going on with the media. The biggest deception is the choice of narrative, because the media can say, they can write a story about this or write a story about that. And only a few stories can go on the front page. So you're deciding essentially what people should pay attention to. So instead of it being what people actually care about, it's actually what a handful of editors care about. They're telling the people what to pay attention to. So that the deception by choice of narrative is a big thing. So that's why I really want the narratives to bubble up organically from the people in the case of the X system, which they do. I think for many in the public, they don't quite realize just how much deception.
Sorry about the abrupt cutoff. It was only a couple of words. Now, Elon is saying that, hey, did X, brought it up, free speech. You know what's going on now with X? The hard left liberals are swamping it with videos. And they know that the right and the conservative movement was actually, had their free speech and growing on X. So what they do, they come in to try to trample everybody's voice. Here's a prime example, and I apologize every time I play this person, but she's just such a fine example, and you probably know who I'm talking about. Here we go.
Of saying, first Canada's broken, and now, the deal is broken. That broken language makes us sound weak and vulnerable.
Yes.
And that's what pisses me off. You
Yes.
cannot use broken language in this moment without understanding, Pierre Poilievre, that you are making our country look weak. And that is something I cannot forgive when I and all the rest of us, 44 million, are trying to be as strong as we can in this unprecedented time. So that is a selfish thing to do. It's self-indulgent positioning. It's poor leadership, and it pisses me off to know.
No, Laura, no, Canada's not broken. You're just saying that because you are demented. These people are really sick. I mean, you can try to deny the obvious, but it doesn't make it go away, right? Now, it works on some people. Carney's good at it. And the Liberal Party is, well, they try to be good at it, but they're so transparent now you can see right through them. And I think there's a lot of people that maybe are going to wake up, but when they do, it's going to be too late. They're going to look back and think, how did this happen? And we're going to say, it's your fault. You brought it on to us. Okay, so excuse me. So Canada's not broken, but according to Laura, that is. But we know it is. And here's a prime example. This young guy here is what our youth are going through. And it's all brought on by the WEF, WHO, the UN, Mark Carney, you name it. They're all in on it. Here we go.
Generation is cooked. We're going to be living in our parents' basements until we're 35 because I just spent $30 on 2 boxes of cereal and milk. Like, how do you expect me to move out of my house when that is 2 hours of work right there? That's equivalent to 2 hours of my life is 2 boxes of cereal and some milk. Absolutely ridiculous. Welcome to the Liberal government of Canada.
Have no fear. The WEF is here. They got some solutions. They're working on it. They're on top of it. Don't worry. A young fella's not going to have to worry about cereal and milk or meat or, well, I guess whatever. He'll get whatever the WEF says he can have, right? It goes for all of us too, of course. Here's another quick clip from the WEF as they're talking about solutions to this so-called climate disaster that we're going through. Yeah, right.
People stop eating meat, I tell you, it has a big impact.
We're developing, through technology, an ability for consumers to measure their own carbon footprint. What does that mean? That's where are they traveling? How are they traveling? What are they eating? What are they consuming on the platform?
Climate change is caused for 20% by meat and dairy. So the producers of meat and dairy should pay for the damage they cause.
The coffee that we all drink emits between 15 and 20 tons of CO2 per ton of coffee. Every time we drink coffee, we are basically putting CO2 into the atmosphere.
And I predict that we will have proteins not coming from meat in the future. They will probably taste even better. So why are we trying to mimic meat if we can have a better taste?
Just remember, it all comes back to the media, right? That's why they want the censorship. I know you folks know this, but we got to keep an eye on it. It's coming out fast and furious. There are digital IDs. New Zealand, I see, is getting it now. It's being forced through. And they have a conservative government, so-called. Of course, the UK's got it big time. Europe is coming out. It's just a matter of time. If these guys get a majority, it's going in. And that'll be the end of freedom as we know it. The U.S. is doing pretty good. Seem to be anyway so far on the freedom of speech aspect. We'll see how it rolls out here in the future after the midterms and stuff. But I don't really see Trump flipping on it. I really don't see that. So I think they're doing probably about the best of any of the countries around right now when it comes to freedoms. Of course, and again, it is the United States, right? They have a constitution and all that good stuff. So here's another one here of this young gal, Canadian gal, and she spells it out pretty good when she brings up the media. That's basically her talking point. And the people are just not awake. And I don't know, you can't even shake them awake. They're just in a stupor. People, I got a guy almost run over me with an empty shopping cart. I mean, he come up behind me. I guess I wasn't going fast enough for him. I was walking a pretty good pace. These people are brain dead. Something happened. Something major happened to the population of this world. Okay, check out this gal here. She's got a good message.
Canadians, you are being propagandized. And elbows up, Canadians, I'm speaking specifically to you. Canada, you are not a victim. Stop acting like a victim. You are not a victim to Trump. Every single problem that we have in this country right now, you have voted for. We are allowing to happen. And all of these problems, they existed before Trump. We were at the bottom of the G7 before Trump. We broke our immigration system before Trump. Our healthcare issues, the hallway medicine, before Trump. All of these things. Now, you are being propagandized. I need to remind you because an election might be around the corner and they're doubling down on these things right now. That attack ad, putting an attack ad in the US, was not just stupid, spending $75 million to put an attack ad in the US. That was not just stupid by meathead Dougie Ford. That was intentional. You don't think Mark Carney knew that Doug Ford was going to put that ad out? Why would they do that in the middle of trade negotiations? And I understand you're playing victim right now and you don't want to take accountability for your own actions and you want elbows up, you want to fight dirty, when actually what you need to do is to be diplomatic. And that was a stupid move. And I don't think these people are actually stupid. I think that was very intentional. Why would they make him mad? Because hatred for Trump is the only thing that the Liberal government can do. That is the only playing card they have, because there is not one positive, tangible outcome from this administration from the last 10 years. Everything since switching over to Mark Carney has also gotten worse. Our tariffs, worse. He's flying around, having lots of conversations. Nothing has been done. Everything is continuing to get more expensive. We are not making the deals. And I'm sorry, it's a nice idea to just buy Canadian. Yeah, you should have been doing this the whole time. You vote with your dollars. But we can't just buy Canadian. support local businesses, always, obviously, but 77% of our trade is with the United States. So they are lying to you when they say that you can just buy Canadian. They're lying to you when they say that, well, we'll make a new deal with Jamaica or a small European country. It's not going to happen. Yeah, we should be making new trade partnerships. It's going to take decades to replace what the US has with us. There is only one solution, and that is to make peace with the United States. And our Canadian MSN media keeps on just fanning the flames, just pissing them off even more. So that's option one. They're just gearing up for another election. They're trying to make Trump mad because it is the only card they have to play, is to scare the liberal boomers into thinking that the big bad Trump man is coming to take all of your money, right? So they're going to scare you. So that's the first thing that might be happening. The second thing that might be happening is actually Trump is in on it. Because if you look at Mark Carney's stock portfolio, you'll see that he's 91% invested in US companies. Trump is a businessman, and there's a very good chance that a lot of Mark Carney's investments might be linked to some of Trump's investments. And they both benefit by the situation. They both benefit by keeping the Liberals and Mark Carney in power. Just something to think about. Just something to think about. But at the end of the day, Canada, you are not a victim to an outside country. You are a victim, if anything, to your own government. But you voted for it. If you voted for this administration, you are responsible for the problems here. So stop pointing the finger across the border to the big orange bad man and start looking in the mirror, or the people that maybe you voted in.
Okay, I have one last clip here, and it is on property rights in Canada. What we used to have as property rights, which has drastically changed in the last couple of weeks or so. It's been in the works for a long time, but it's been kept under wraps. So all this was going on behind the scenes. Sneaky. That's how these commies do it, right? Once the country's gone, which I'll leave it up to you guys to make your own decision on it, but I say we're past the point. We'll see. It could be a long run to correct the issues, or it could be a sudden one. I think we're getting closer to a sudden change, and it's not going to be in the government's favor. We'll see how that goes. I'm not promoting or pushing anything. I'm just looking in my tea leaves, and it seems to be telling me that it's probably going to be sooner than later. Let's see what happens. Here's this one here. She's this lady gives a good little short chat on the property rights, or lack of, here in Canada.
I warned Canadians about land grabs and that land grabs were coming. And that's what happens when a government turns tyrannical or goes full communist. And here we are today with Richmond basically experiencing land grabs. But this time it's actually coming from the courts, and they're using the Native Canadians as kind of the puppeteers for the land grabs. If you're not sure what a land grab is, it's basically when a government decides they want that land, or they want your houses, or they want you to move, and there's no legal route. So what they will do is they will either light fires in and around your area, like they did to all of northern Alberta every single year since 2020. We now have fire season. That in return either increases insurance premiums, or they don't even give insurance at all. So you can't even sell or buy your house. Then the government comes in and probably buys it for pennies and makes you move to the nearest 15-minute center or 15-minute city that they have. Like Grand Prairie is one of the 15-minute cities. They have signed up for that. And so if you live in anywhere around there, they're going to set the entire forest on fire, and they're going to, use that in multiple ways, such as the carbon tax or whatever. But now the courts have actually ruled in favor for Native Canadians to come in and take almost 800 acres of Richmond. And now they're going after Kamloops and the Sun Peaks ski resort. Let me just show you that. A recent BC Supreme Court ruling has recognized the Cowichan Nation's Aboriginal title to approximately 800 acres in Richmond, BC, including land owned by the city, private citizens, and the Vancouver Fraser Port Authority. Here is another article. Richmond land grab, major controversy in Canada. Homeowners call for pause in negotiations with First Nation. First Nations seek Aboriginal title over vast BC interior area, including all of the city of Kamloops and Sun Peaks Resort. Now, if you're wondering where these land grabs or this idea came from, it actually came from the UN. I know a lot of people are mad at the Aborigine community, but that's not actually what's happening. It's not them. It's the UN basically using these chiefs in order to land grab, and then they'll screw over the Aborigine community, because I don't think the chiefs read the fine print where it basically says that all the land will then be deferred to King Charles. But hey, what do I know? Anyways, here's the kind of clip of what UNDRIP, once it was adopted into law, basically allowed the Aborigine community to do. How UNDRIP and Canadian land grabs go hand in hand. Although UNDRIP is designed to protect Indigenous land rights, it often ends up highlighting or even coinciding with continuing Canadian land grabs. This happens for a few interconnected reasons. Number one, Canada has formally endorsed UNDRIP but rarely implements it fully. UNDRIP requires states to uphold Indigenous rights to land and resources, self-determination, free, prior, and informed consent before any development or resource extraction. We're all getting played here. All of us. Every single Canadian. We're getting played and we're getting pinned against each other.
It's not looking good, is it? Well, the reason I did this as a premier, which I don't usually do, you're probably well aware of that, but it's Grey Cup. And it's in Calgary, McMahon Stadium. It's going to be a cold one, but I don't think there's going to be any snow this year. So we'll see how it goes. Go Rough Riders! Come on, Saskatchewan, you can do it. So we'll get it together again here next week. Look, folks, there's no shortage. There's so many good, really good young people now on YouTube on the conservative side that are putting out a lot of information. It's so great to see, because when I started this, back around 2017, something like that, 2017, 18, or I think it might have been December of 2017. Anyways, there wasn't a whole lot, but boy, has it ever grown in numbers with, especially with Carney. Carney is, he's poison. So, he's got an uphill battle. These people are on top of it, and it's good to see. Okay, we still got the Chorus Rebel and the other major ones. So anyways, let's see how the Rough Riders do. Saskatchewan, and next week we'll do it again. Thank you for checking out the premiere, and I hope you enjoyed these little clips, little informative clips, and like I say, we'll do it again next week. Bye for now. God bless.